Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. What you want to talk about? Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, Lisa, Lopre, JT, and friends. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. What you want to talk about? Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, Lisa, Lopre, JT, and friends.
Lisa, Lorraine, JT, and friends. Y'all ready to cook up some conversation? Come on.
Kitchen talk.
Let's talk.
Hey, hey.
Miss Black, what's up?
How you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. How's it been?
Hey, I'm staying out of trouble.
Me too. Well, I can't say the same. I can't
You
say
already,
the same.
you know my saying, working on greater.
Yeah, I'm working on greater, but I ain't staying out of trouble.
Oh,
That is
Lord.
definitely Kim. Definitely Kim.
It's good trouble though. It's good trouble. It's
Good
not
trouble.
bad
Yes, it
Yeah.
is. I'm waiting for
Yeah.
the Chronicles.
Yeah, they're coming back. I had to take a sabbatical to get my mind right, my mind back
Yes.
right.
Hey,
had to
I
get my mind
understand.
right.
We sometimes
that
have
break.
to. We sometimes have to. So welcome to
Welcome.
Kitchen Talk, CTC.
Thank you.
Conversations
Nice to be a
that
part.
Good.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So I'm not in the kitchen tonight. As you can see, I'm on location.
I'm in the kitchen.
Thank you,
I'm in
Kim,
my
for
kitchen.
being in the kitchen.
No,
I'm in
I'm
the kitchen.
hungry. I'm hungry.
Listen, when Lisa told me you was gonna be on the show, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna have a hot one tonight."
Yeah, I'm hungry. I got to be in the kitchen.
Well,
Yeah.
good. Well, that's what we do. We eat and everything in the
Yeah,
kitchen.
in the
So
kitchen.
it is, and we
In
cook
the
up some conversations. I'm trying to tell you.
In the kitchen.
In the kitchen. So listen, tonight I want to talk about it takes a village. So recently, or well, maybe not recently, but sometimes we've seen how the village really has been like, especially like in church and places like that, we're a little more reserved. We don't necessarily want to talk to nobody else's children because the parent may act one way or whatever. And so the village has kind of been a little more hands off than they have been hands on.
Right.
So I wanted us to talk about that. But the reason I brought Kim on is because Kim don't pay no attention to none of that.
None of that. None of that. Everybody, her baby.
Everybody.
So recently we've had, some little issues in Tallahassee. And I'm sure they're no different from any other city. But Kim Black has been deemed the parental snitch. So she is going around the city telling on the children.
I enjoy
I
it.
love it. And you know what?
Please,
I
come
approve.
back.
I've
I
enjoyed it.
approve.
So
I
Kim,
approve.
Mhm.
tell me how you got started with the parental stitching.
Well, a few weeks ago, my daughter, she's 15, she asked me could she go out to Cascade Park with her friends. And she really hadn't been anywhere besides my house and her sister's house. So I was like, okay, Kelsey, that's fine. So when I go to pick her up, I see kids everywhere, but I've been noticing, like walking out in the park, it's been a fluctuate of teenagers. So by then, when I get out there to pick her up, it's been a melee going on. It's been fights everywhere. It's kids everywhere. They walking around, they fussing and cussing like grown ups and adults are not walking with them and not walking in the vicinity. So I've got a hold to on videos, social media, a fight of a little girl,
Mm.
and it bothered me so bad.
Oh,
So
Lord.
when I got out to the park, I saw police everywhere. I said,
Yeah.
okay, I called my daughter. I said, "Where you at?" And she told me where she was. So I picked her up, and I was like, "Police everywhere. Why is police out here, Mama? They was fighting." I said, "You this your first time? This your last
And
time?
your last
Don't
time.
ask me to come out here. No, if I'm not out here, you're not coming." So and it
Yeah.
just bothered me. And when I saw the video of the fight, y'all kids meeting up at. Let me tell y'all, your kids meeting up at Cascade Park to fight. They around here fussing and cussing like they grown. I'm not talking about just teenagers, little bitty elementary school
Oh,
kids.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
wilding. I mean, you got grown ups walking from all walks of life,
Yeah.
walking, trying to have a relaxing time. And you got, and I call them my children. You got my children being like they have raised. And so I just
Mm-hmm.
started every time I got whiff or something, I put it on Facebook. I done been cussed out by kids. They have tried to get my phone number and call me. They have tried to become my Facebook friend. It has been, I laugh. I really laugh. I even went looking for one little girl because I knew when I saw who her people was on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
kids don't realize that you have so many connections with different people.
They never
mm-hmm,
do.
And they had no clue.
mm-hmm.
I'm like,
Never
oh,
do.
oh. So I
Yeah.
just, do you know this little girl? Do you know what happened? She's co-signing on disrespect on my post. Take snapshots, send it to them. See, my issue with our parenting is that we don't ask questions anymore. We
Right.
feel
Mm.
like they have privacy.
Right.
I've never had privacy,
Me neither,
No.
Kim.
especially somewhere I didn't pay bills. I can't
Hey,
even buy.
hey, you
No, I don't buy no food. Privacy. It was a
Privacy.
privilege to live at home. So I just went from now on. When I know something, I'm gonna put it out there. A lot of parents don't know. They just think, oh, they're going to the movies. Oh, they just going to the park.
yeah,
No, they become a different person when they leave your house. I raised
they
four
do.
girls. I
Yeah.
know. I know.
And then
Four.
we went through it too. We did the same
Ooh.
thing, but it's a
No, I
different
didn't.
era right now.
No,
I
my
think
people
we
were
did
great.
it, but not as bad. Like, I didn't get away with stuff like that because I had such a deep community. Like the neighbors would tell my parents, or my
Yep, I
uncles, my
had that.
aunt, everybody was at my house. So, you couldn't turn a corner without somebody seeing you if it wasn't my parents themselves.
Hmm.
Uh, Nowadays, there are even parents who know what's happening. Miss Black, some of them know what's going on, but they still don't say nothing.
They don't say anything because you got to think with the generations, times have changed. The people used to be able to do that, and you knew it came from a place of love. So you
Right,
didn't mind somebody else disciplining your child. You didn't mind
right.
somebody else having that conversation with your child. But as the years change and as the general change and as the world unfolded into something evil, you start
Mhm.
seeing that some people wasn't doing it because of love. They were really trying to harm and hurt
Hurt.
your
Yeah.
children because of their
Yeah.
own misguided mental sense, mental
Yeah.
That's
illness,
true.
whatever it was, jealousy, dislike. So as you begin to see the turn and people really hurting children, you got to the point where a lot of people, oh, you're not gonna tell my child what to do. You're not gonna
Yeah.
discipline my child. You're not
Yeah.
gonna do that. You're not gonna do that. So that causes the division in the village itself
In the
to where
village. Yeah.
now we can't pull our village together because our village is so divided.
I would
It
say
is.
this, that I'm very thankful and grateful because I have a lot of parents who still don't mind me. I'm talking about from
Mhm.
college, as you know, from college
Yeah.
all the way down. Like, Mr. Morris, do what you need to do. Do what you do. And I trust that you're going to do right by my kids.
Right.
And that's a blessing to have because it's a lot of responsibility with it. And I think that's what people don't want. They don't want the responsibility anymore
Because they're going
because
through
it's a
their
lot
own
of work.
issues. Yeah, they're going through their own issues with their own
Right.
children, and I get that. Like I say, four girls from the age of 29 to the age of 15, and I got one that gives me, excuse my French, complete hell. But at the same complete, I'm just being real about it. But
I love
that's
it.
my child, and I
Right.
love her. But I learned how other kids act because my house has always been the safe house. They run away
Right.
from home. They come to my house. I'm like, why the child here? Well, her mama got into it. All right, she get this one night in the morning. Call her mama.
Right.
We got to
She
talk.
got
Yeah.
right.
We have and people are not doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
They just raised different. It's a different
Yeah.
standard of what they and getting away from it. Even you got some parents that really don't want that responsibility to discipline their child.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
But you
I
It's too
know.
much of a headache.
So
growing up,
oh,
go
go
ahead,
ahead,
Lisa.
Frank.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
so growing up, my house was their house. Like all of my friends like coming up to my house. They thought my parents were cool or whatever. But again, but my parents knew their parents. So it
Right.
wasn't just like, whatever. Oh yeah, it's fine for y'all to come over here, but I need to talk to your mama,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So we had this sense of um what I'm finding is they don't have a sense of fear. And when I
No.
say fear, I don't necessarily mean scared. I'm just saying like a reverence or respect for
Yeah,
nothing. Like
yeah.
they really don't even fear death.
Mm-mm.
So
So
when you ain't scared of nothing, you can do just about anything.
well,
And
it
the thing
sometimes it
is,
plays to the
if you
reality.
try, I'm sorry, friends, if you try as an adult to maybe,
Mhm.
speak to them or whatever, and then you get cussed out to try to keep
Yes.
yourself out of jail, you let it go and leave it
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah. Because it's been some days I say, I'm still on the
Oh
potter's
God.
wheel. I'm still on the potter's wheel. I have to tell myself I'm still on the potter's wheel. I'm still on the potter's wheel.
My dad was considered the enforcer. So, like, just like you said earlier, you had parents who probably didn't want to discipline, or they, didn't have that authority over their kids. They would literally call my dad over and say, "Hey, we got an issue, come and handle it." And he would come over and have a talk. And sometimes just that calming them down and say, "Hey, you just need to get right." I think that's still needed. And I don't know, that trust factor has to be in place so that we
Yeah,
don't run into the same issues.
yeah.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
gotta find people that you trust in the village. That is true. So years ago, I was a youth pastor. So my church kids, grown today, but they still, Miss
Yeah.
Lisa, they still very respectful. And the parents are like, thank you. Because the other thing that you find is, and I'm not putting all the fault on the parents, because I have seen some parents do good
Yeah.
parenting, but they kids still, go to the left a little bit. But what we find is, because of the village, mama can say one thing, but like when auntie or uncle come in the room, say the exact
Yes.
same
That
thing,
same
and
thing.
it's gold. It's
Yes.
gold.
Yes.
Yeah, that's correct.
So we
So my
so this
my dad did that, and my mom too. Like, they were not afraid to feed me to the village because they
Right.
knew the village was gonna feed me. So
But
they
they
say,
knew, they trusted the village.
they
There's no
did.
trust
They
factor.
did. They did. And a lot of times it's what you said, Lisa. It's the same thing that they said. It's the same thing my mama told me or my father told me. And then I hear it from somebody else and I'm like, oh, yeah. And then, I'll come home and like, yeah, I know. I know.
I have two like that. I have two children like that. I can say it all day long, but it's not till they hear from my mom, or one of my
Right.
good friends. Then it
Right.
resonate with them. It sticks with them.
it
But if I'm
does.
saying it, oh, that's just mama.
It does.
And
She just gonna fuss.
that's why we need the village. That is
Yeah.
why we need the village, because we need that reinforcement. Lisa, you have put this in the text. I was like, yeah, somebody need to get snatched.
One
Somebody
good.
need to get snatched today. One
See,
good
I
time.
have gone to the schools. When mine act up, I go to the schools. I don't mind. My grand, she act up, I go to the schools. I don't mind. You
Yeah.
don't get that anymore because everybody is so scared of they gonna call the police. They gonna do
Right.
this. I'd
Yeah.
rather be your police than have to be going to see you behind a cell.
Ooh,
I'm
Kim.
gonna be
ooh.
your police.
Kim.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, I'm gonna
Yep.
police you before I let them
Yep.
police for you because they don't have the love that I have for you.
Yeah.
That's
They're
right.
killing people that look like you and me. Now you used to
Right.
just hear about men and boys, but they're even killing women now.
Women.
So
Yeah.
at some point,
Yeah.
I'm gonna police my house. I police my grown children, and they would tell you my mama still was jump on us. We grown.
Yes. Yeah.
We grown.
And
Listen, my father
Kim
called me just about
They
every
grown with
day.
children.
and Kim
No,
Hey,
all of 5 feet
yeah.
tall.
listen,
Mm-mm.
they
Kim,
get
you
on
this
me
big.
still.
All my
Kim,
children
This
taller
big.
you
than
this
me.
big. You this
Ugh.
big, Kim, but you gonna get them straight.
What? I don't mind. They'll tell you I jump in the car, go knock on their door at their own house. What you said? Did you hang up the phone on me? Did you do that? But a
I
lot of
love
people,
it.
but my village is
Yeah.
small, but the ones that I entrust my kids with is because I know that they love my children.
Yeah.
So I
Yes.
entrust them and I know that they have a love for my children and want to see my children prosper and do right. So you don't have that. And then when you are a young mother and you became a young mother, a lot of these women that they're doing the best they can with what
Hmm.
they have. So if
Hmm.
Yep.
they didn't get that nurture and nobody taught them, how are they to teach when they haven't been taught?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't
But you
teach
know,
what you don't know.
you
Wait a
don't
minute. But when you want to do better, you learn. But listen
learn
to
it.
the key
I was
words.
talking to that.
The key
Yes.
words is when you want to do
Yes.
better, you
Yes.
learn. Some of them don't want to because it's a way of life. It's easier. Why
Right.
change? It's easier.
So
But
what
I'm not gonna make
so
it easy on them.
what do you guys think happened with the village?
DCF.
But you know, DCF is not a bad thing because we have so many issues. You
We
know,
do.
it's a good. It's like a good and bad coin. It works when it needs to, and then it also hurts when you don't
And
want to do
that's
that
the
work.
issue. It when it hurts the family and not
Right.
help the family. And there's a
Right.
lot of hurt because you've actually sat there and told kids you have rights to do this. You have rights to do that. No, I beg to differ. You don't have any rights when you cannot pay no light bill. You don't have any rights when you can't buy food. You don't have any rights when the rent man knocking on the door need the rent and you don't have a coin to put to it. You don't have rights when you can't go in the store and buy you some shoes, some clothes, and some drawers to put on your tail. You don't have any rights when it's time to wash your butt and you can't buy any soap. What rights? Your right is to listen to what I say because if I'm a
Yeah.
good parent, I'm going to lead you right. I'm going to
Yeah.
lead you. I'm going to lead you on the straight and narrow. If I'm even trying to be a halfway decent parent, I'm going to lead you right. So you don't have any rights in my house. I can bring you my child and she will tell you, I don't have any rights. I live here. It is a privilege to live with my mom. I don't want to go stay
Kim,
with my daddy.
Kim,
Oh God.
Jamal,
I
put
don't.
that one back up for me. Arnetta say Kim Black don't play.
She know. I go up. Listen, that was
She
at. She was
say
at
you
Bond.
don't. She say you a
She was
parent
at
that didn't mind
That's
showing out.
Anita.
what? I would go to Bond
Miss
Elementary.
Williams. That's Miss Williams. That's my
Yes,
girl.
I would go to
Yeah.
Bond Elementary because I had one that spoiled her. Godparents spoiled her. So every
Yes.
weekend she came back to Tallahassee. She don't want to do no work. I don't want to. Yeah, can I take my you? I got a ruler. It had a name on it. I'm bring her to the classroom for a minute. Let me give her get right. She got to get
Yes.
right. I got to let her know
Yeah.
where she at now. She can't have her way here. I do that with
Right.
my grandson. I do that with my granddaughter that's in school. They would tell you at Sable Palm Elementary, Miss Black will show up and take her in the bathroom and then make her dry her face like it would nothing has ever happened. But we're gonna act right. We're gonna do what we're supposed to do. My grown
But
children,
you
my
know,
I don't play that. And I'm not scared of these self. You could
so
come in.
you
I'm not
know,
putting no
one of the
bruises
things,
on them. I'm not harming them in any way. I'm going to discipline my
yeah,
child before I allow anybody else to discipline my child. My
Right.
children, and I feel like this with every parent. We have a lot of children just running loose and running rapid because y'all want to be friends. I'm not your friend.
Not your
God
yeah,
didn't
there
make
it
me. God
is.
didn't send you to me for me to be your friend. He sent me to you to
Right.
love you unconditionally, to take care of you, and to make you a productive citizen. I'm not your friend. We're not gonna be friends, buddy, buddy, where we can sit up and talk
It's,
about this, that. I see a lot of that. I don't get that.
I think it depends on the child though, Kim, because my mother and I were close like that growing up, but I also knew what my boundaries were, right?
Exactly.
So I knew that I could come well with my parents, period. They were those type of people that you could come and talk to them about anything. And they weren't judgmental. I never heard my parents say, you better not. They would say, these are the consequences. And if
Yep.
it's worth it to you, go ahead. But no, you're going to suffer the
My
consequences.
mom did the same thing. There's consequences, good and bad. Which one can you handle?
Yeah.
And she will tell
Yeah.
you to this day, if I decide to do something that it had a negative consequence, she'll tell you that I weighed the consequence and I felt that I was woman enough to handle that consequence. Back then, I was just doing because sometimes all of us have been rebellious. And I have been a rebellious child before. But if I felt like I could weigh the consequences, but she never told me, you like yours, you can't do this, you ain't gonna do this. She would always explain to me, even my grandmother explained to me why. And
Right.
that's not being my friend. That's giving me all the missing pieces to the
Yeah.
information that I need to make a decision, whatever
Yeah.
decision that I decided to
Yeah.
make. And the
And
key
that's what
word
I
that
was
you
going to
said
say.
is boundaries. Wait a minute. The key word you said is boundaries.
Yeah.
Mm.
You will be amazed at how many kids don't have boundaries because their parents don't enforce boundaries, don't
Mm.
push boundaries, don't make boundaries. Just let you talking anyway in front of your mom and in front of your dad. You acting anyway, and there are no boundaries being set. They just letting you get away with it because they don't want to deal with it.
So I was going to say the same thing. One, to that point, my grandfather said this, and then my father picked it up. You don't let your kids grow like grass all over the place. You
All
got
over
to
the
plant
place.
that grass. They can't grow wild out here. You got to make sure that everything is in control. But my father and mother and grandfather and grandmother, they asked us the whys. Like, okay, you're going to do this, but think about why you're doing it. And that conversation to me was sometimes just as detrimental as the spanking. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's no conversations. You're like, oh God, really? But those, I think the mistakes we make help us to be who we are too.
Yeah.
So it's part of the parents kind of know that, okay, I know you're going to do that. I told you not to do it. I gave you the boundaries. I told you the way. You still went the wrong way.
And this is what
Let's
happened.
talk about it. And what did you learn from it? Instead of just, oh, well. And I think a lot of parents just say, oh, well, just keep on going instead of figuring out, let's learn from the lesson so that we can be better.
Yeah.
I've heard parents even say, that's what you get. I'm like,
now, I can't lie.
I work with, listen, but you say that's what you get, but it's not a that's what you get, like as in I told you so. It's a that's what you get. That's you just whatever be. I work with Leon County schools at Second Chance School for 16 years. You cannot tell me nothing. I have seen daughters jump on mom. I've seen dog. When I tell you I've seen it all.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen it all. The respect level that most kids have for their parents is virtually none. And I'm going to put it out there. And it's because of how the parents have lived in front of the child.
That's good.
How you live in front of your children is vital and important. Not saying you're going to be a perfect parent, but if you want that respect level there, you got to be consistent and you have to live somewhat the life you preach to your children.
Right.
Because if you don't, they're going to be just like grass all over the place.
True.
That's correct.
Definitely gone are the days of do as I say and not as I do.
Exactly.
I mean, even us growing up, that they could almost get away with that somewhat, but as these new generations come in, you can't tell me one thing and then you doing something else. It does not work like that. You have to lead by example.
Exactly.
Well, one of the things I really push, not on a collegiate level, high school, middle school, elementary, is that we have the opportunity to make a decision. So even when I'm at my elementary school, Bond, Fairview, you name it, all of these schools, I've been to them. I tell them the same thing. It's your choice. You may not come from the best background. Things may not be, all sunshine and roses at home, but you have a choice right now to make that change. And I think the earlier they hear that message, that, you know what, I can make a change for my family, for myself, for my community. I think that's when that aha moment comes along. I had a student who that's exactly what happened. He was from a crazy background, but we had that conversation. And we continue to have that conversation. His mom came to the school. Now, I didn't see the mom for at least 2 years. I didn't even know. Like, anytime he had a problem, she's like, oh, well. She finally came to the school just to say, Mr. Moyes, what did you do to my son? I said, all I told him was it's on him. He has a decision to make. He's in control. So I think we have to give our kids that option. Like, letting them know that they have the ability to change the direction of their lives. They can choose to be like you, or they can choose to be better than you. And that was a choice. That's correct.
I strive for the better.
That was a choice I was given. You know, we want you to be, I don't want you to be like me. I want you to be better than me.
Better than me.
So my grandfather had to go at a bar. We had to surpass, well, my father had to surpass his bar.
That's right.
And we have to surpass my father's bar. So, and my kids are going to have to surpass my bar. So,
mine get aggravated with me because I push so hard.
Yes.
But the way the world is going, if I don't push you, they're going to push you out the way into poverty. I want you to be able to sustain and sustain and stand on your own 2 feet without having handouts, working hard, earning what it is that you need in life or what you got to have in life. I want you to be better than me. I used to work, this true story. I worked 2 jobs, 2 children, and went to school full time. Because I did that, I had the support of my grandmother, the godparents, and my mother.
That's that base.
I couldn't even get, at that time years ago, I couldn't even get childcare. So I had to rely on my village.
Right.
And they make it, it was like, you don't have to work like this, Kim. Yes, I do. I have to be able to show them that in order for you to have what you want, you got to work for it.
Yeah.
Right.
And it doesn't come easy. You appreciate it. I appreciate everything I have now because I worked for it. Nothing was handed to me.
Right.
Nothing was handed to me. Even if I took a wrong turn, instead of going down straight, I went veered to the left or I veered to the right. I learned from that lesson. And I got right back on the straight and narrow to get what I needed to get. And that's what I have always instilled that, even with my students at Second Chance, who to this day, Miss Kim, Miss Black, they tell me everything I need to know. In the streets. I don't have to be in the streets. They gonna tell me what if my child is acting up in the streets, I will get a video. Real talk. She doing this. This is what she had. And I show up. She be like, everybody in the world know your mom.
Right.
You are a reflection on me. And parents, if you're a reflection on me, this is not how you was raised. Get in the car. Or if you don't get in the house, they're gonna see me act up on you. And she humbly goes and do what she needs to do. But you have to, it's just hard work. You have to show them hard work. And if you're not showing them that, and they're going around taking and stealing, and they're not being respectable because you're not teaching them what respect is, how do we expect our next generation to lead us?
Yeah.
And it's funny because they need to know that they are also a part of the village.
Yes.
So when I talk to different church organizations, when I do my workshops with nonprofit organizations, I love to tell the adults, don't take the kids out of the equation. Let them learn some of those lessons. Put them they have to be a part of the process so that they know that they matter and that they can start building on those responsibilities. It don't matter how small it is. We used to have to be the usher, or the greeter at the door, or I used to have to drive my elderly sister. I'm gonna just say Sister Jackie. I used to have to drive Sister Jackie from church to home. She was older, so I had to learn those responsibilities, and I think that to me made me a part of the village.
Yeah,
I don't know if we're giving them the tools or the skills to say, hey, this is what we need you to do. We need you to clean up the block. Yeah. Not tear up the block.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
But we can do that. We do, and what I found, and I've seen this happen, we can do that with kids, with our kids. And it's just that when we leave, they go back into the same element. Everybody home life is not a good home life.
Yeah, that's correct.
Everybody home life, and they go back into the same element. You got a lot of kids that want to do better, but they get pulled back into the same element of dysfunction. You can be dysfunctional without being truly dysfunctional. But when you got to come home, you want to be a kid, but you got to come home and help raise your sisters and brothers. Yeah. And but you just like what you just experienced. Oh,
Right.
we went to the museum. Or sister so and so they took us there. We did this. I doing this in the church. But when you go home and you have parents that don't quite, understand all that, is useless for them, but they're letting you do it. It don't matter. You got to wash these dishes. You got to help bathe. Such it's hard to pull that from a child.
Yeah.
But it's
It
not
is hard.
impossible. It's
It's
not
not
impossible.
impossible. I said hard, not
Yeah.
impossible.
I think that's what we have to, be that village for the community, because we know there's a lot of kids out there who have to go through that, go home to trauma and drama,
Yeah.
where when they're outside in the community, they don't have to worry about that. And I think it's up to us to show them that light, to say, hey, I know you're going through whatever right now, but that's just for now. You got to make that choice so that what you're going through is not what you're going to be going through later.
So what do you guys think is a good way or a plan to kind of bring the values and the process and the things of the village back? Like, how do we bring the village back? I know sometimes we talk about sometimes we're talking about political stuff, or we're talking about this, or we're talking about that, we're talking about crime, we're talking about police brutality and just different things. We always talk about uniting or whatever. But how do we bring the village back? How do we bring back honestly, it's the love. Like, how do we bring back the love?
We got to have some consistency with what we're doing. We can't just go gung ho and then fall off. Because when you're not consistent, the change that you want to see is not going to happen. It's going to revert back. We're going to have to be consistent. We're going to have to stand strong. We're going to have to mean what we say, because that's where they don't want to hear talk anymore. They've heard enough of that. We're going to have to be consistent in our actions, be consistent in our word. When you're consistent with a child, I don't care if it's good or bad, they know you mean business.
That's right.
They know you. They know you mean business. When you're consistent in a good way, and when you're being consistent in a good way, deep down that love, they're gonna start feeling, okay, so and so have love for me. They really want to see me doing better. We gotta be consistent. Even though I started out in Cascade, I ended up at the movie theater because I heard they were going to the movies. The movie was opening up. So guess what? I was at the movie theater. I went to the movies. Y'all children need to pick up these kids. They at the movies. These little girls walking in groups, they by themselves. I did that. I even had a parent, his name Luther Wells, to meet me. He was like, I ain't gonna leave you out here by yourself. He had been working all day. He met me out there. I'm in a white truck. I'm in a gold Hummer. We circling the block, making sure the kids are all right. Because what parents don't, what you might, quote unquote, I put up a post. You never know what your child is gonna do outside your absence.
Right.
That's why we're having so many of our young men, black boys, dying in the streets, because y'all don't know what your child doing. You're letting them go. You don't know who they're going to be around.
Yeah.
Not only that, y'all not picking them up. You leaving them to walk the streets 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. Come on, we got to be consistent. My thing is, I'm going to be consistent. When I hear team party, I'm showing up. I'm riding around. Me in the gold Honda. I'm not riding solo. I have friends that ride with me. One named Nine, one named Pop, one named Pipe, and the other name Switchblade. So don't try it. Don't try it. Don't try it. But I am that, because you got some kids that is not, like you said, not scared of anything.
Yeah.
Right.
If y'all saw the post that I was getting on my post, I mean, they was cussing me out like I was nothing. Like,
I saw some of them. I saw some of them. Friends, I was like, you know what? I got to have Kim on Kitchen Talk. We got to talk about this.
Yeah, but I'm gonna show up, and I know they hate that. My baby is like, Mama, please. You need to know what your child is doing. Too many moms are burying their children. They're crying. Twice a month, we're hearing about a teenage boy being killed in the street. No, you need to know what your child is doing. How you don't know your child got a gun? Go in the room, flip up the room. I go through everything. Listen, I will pick up your mattress. I'm going through everything. Your book bag. Please don't say nothing, because everything that you have is because of me. This is my house. And if people don't get into that mentality again to know what's going on, them phones, That social media and the phones is the devil for our children.
Yeah.
Y'all,
No, it's
you got to
not.
get
It's
involved.
not. It's not. What it
No,
is
no, you
that
saying
we
it's
don't
not,
put
but they use
on-
it for the wrong things.
Yes, because we're not putting the boundaries on them. So instead of using it for good, they use it for the wrong thing. I think again, it comes back down to what you said. How are we going to monitor? Like when I brought food into my parents' house, it wasn't for me. My dad said, once you cross that door, it's for everybody.
For everybody.
You know what I mean? So we used to have the earphones. No, what you listening to? Let me hear it too.
Yes,
Right.
but you got to go back to doing that.
What you got going on? Because I need to know. Why you want to know? Because I brought you into this world, and I don't want you to get caught up. And I want to understand what you listening to. I think again, it takes us being proactive and not reactive.
And reactive. And that's what's happening. We're too reactive and not being enough. There's not enough proaction going on. It is not.
When
I
somebody
see
gets
it.
shot, somebody got hurt, something. We crying in the street, but what were you doing before that so that won't happen? I know there are times where it happens because it's a sad circumstance or situation, but there are some times where we could have stopped it. As a parent, you could have did something to kind of.
There's some signs. There's always some signs. Even when you're not paying attention, there are always signs. I don't care what nobody say. God always give you a check mark. It's something always not. If there's something going on, it's not gonna sit right. Now, whether you choose to address what you're feeling is one thing. But you always have something is even when you're certain friends around your children, basically you sit back and look at it. You're influencing my child. My mom told me when I was having problems with she was then 16. She said the influences of the world is greater than any influence that you can have over the child right now because the music, the TVs, how other people living when they coming from a structured environment and they got friends who environment is not so structured, they start desiring that not so structured environment. So the influences of the world greatly impacts our children. I don't care how good of a parent that you are. You have to monitor those influences so they don't overtake your child.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back again to boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To answer your question, Lisa, to bring that village back, I think it goes back to us saying, you know what, it's going to start one person at a time.
Yeah.
Like Miss Black is on my team. She's part of my village, right? We got
tag team at work. We tag team. We tag team. I'll be like, they come to tell.
Like, on a professional level, we have that village in that office, right?
Yeah, right.
I think even on here we have a village between me, you, and JT. There's a village. I think it's us starting to build that village, one person at a time, trusting each other, and saying, you know what, I got your back, you got my back. Let's work together to achieve X goal. If it's to make sure Johnny get to college, listen, I'm gonna do what I need to do. I need your support. You got my support. Let's make it happen. I think that is what we need to do to really build the village. We actually got to do the work.
Yeah, you got to do the work.
Yeah, I think we think it's just gonna happen. Oh, we got a village. It's just gonna. No, you got to call Miss Black. You got to call Miss Lisa and find out what's going on, how things are going. What's up with Shay Shay? She acting up.
I have parents that do that. I have parents that's in college. There's children that call me to this day. What if they supposed to graduate? When they supposed to graduate? What's going on? What did Miss Black tell you to do? I said, I'm in the middle of advisement session and I hear what she told you to do. Well, why you ain't did it? I'm like, see,
I told you. But that is how we build the village, one person at a time. The trust, the care, and the love.
You got the love. They got to feel that love.
Right. And I think we kind of miss that because I think people think that you're going to take something from them or I'm here to help you. Yeah. And as I'm helping you, I'm actually helping myself. So it's a win-win situation.
Yeah. And they don't realize how it really The way I've handled my students at FAMU helps me with my 22-year-old because I
Right.
have to get things from their perspective, and I'm like, I just went okay. Then I pick her up the phone and I call and I say, hey, this is what blah blah blah, and I'm able to. And then she's like, okay, mama, now you understand. So
Yeah.
it's a win-win for me to be able to help my child when some of the things that I can't help her with.
Yeah.
Because sometimes as a parent, we got to step back and assess from different points of views in order to
Right.
be able to assist and help our child and guide our children. Sometimes we want to do that because we say we live longer, we know what's best. That's
Yeah.
not always the case.
Mhm.
Just
Right.
like we have a voice, and I do say kids don't have a right, but I do believe in letting them express themselves respectively.
Yep.
Tell me what I did wrong. Tell me how you feel, because I
Right.
can't just keep doing things and then I'm making deep down inside you're getting angry, you're getting bitter, and that's causing you to
Right.
act out. That's
Yeah.
causing you to have we got to be able to talk to them in a manner to where we can relate to them, because I've had to, as a parent, we don't want to share some of the things that we've been through with our
Right.
children. I've had to lately be able to share. I understand where you come from. Because I experienced such and such, and they be like, "Yeah, your mom ain't always been, baby. Your mom ain't always been right on everything. I've had to go through some things, and
Yeah.
I've never been a mom say you do as I told you to do, and I'm doing just the opposite."
Yeah.
So we got in, and that brings the love. When I do that with my college students, sometimes I share with them. I open with, and Lisa, I'm very transparent with my testimony.
Yeah.
I'm very transparent with some things that I've been. I know what to say and how to say it to get you to understand that I understand where you're coming from. But even with them, I can sit down and say, this is what it is. And they respect that more. They're able to relate to that more than
Right.
somebody just bickering and judging them. Like they
Right.
just like, you can't be judgmental,
Right.
because when you're judgmental, that's not love.
But
I
Love
the
is
think it
not
goes back
parents.
judging.
to it
Oh,
goes back to what I was saying, that you have to add them to the piece because they are a part of the village.
Right.
So I can't disregard what they have to say, because
yeah.
guess what? One day they're gonna be where you at.
Yeah.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
gonna be
And you.
leading the charge. We gotta start teaching them early that hey, you're a part of this just as much as I am.
Yeah.
And you have to
It's,
trust. I'm sorry, friends. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
And parents have to trust the other members of the village. So the ones
Yes.
who don't have children doesn't mean that I don't have a wisdom to impart in your children or
Right.
something to
Right.
give your
Correct.
children. Just because I don't have children don't mean that I may not know how to raise them. It
That's
means
correct.
that I don't
That's right.
necessarily have experience raising them in that way, but it doesn't mean
Right.
that I can't add value to your
Yes.
That's
child's life. Doesn't mean I can't love your child
right.
and the way that you love them. I've had a parent, get mad at me because I'm on the daughter because I see something in the daughter.
Right.
I see you, little girl, and I'm on her like, you got to do this. Well, the mama came and she was like, I don't know what this is between you and da 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 da. I'm like, is you talking to this in front of the child? Like
Hmm.
like me and the child best friends, and you got to get us straight because she
That's a
come
problem.
home and
Hmm.
be mad about something I said or did. And so I backed up. But you know what? I went home, I prayed, and then next Sunday when I saw them, I said, you know what? Come here, both of y'all. I see something in her. So she is going to come home mad at me.
Right.
And so whatever y'all need to do, y'all just need to do it. But I'm going to stay on her. I'm sorry. I'm going to stay on her. She going to be mad at me. And you going to be upset because she come home talking about what I did to her. That's
Right.
fine.
Right.
But she going to do better right here.
She gonna do better. Yeah. But you got to
So
stand your ground and don't waver. Don't
right.
waver.
And so to me, it was like, if you, I don't have a problem with a parent if they need to come talk to me. I don't have a problem with that. But you're not going to talk to me like that in front of the child.
That's
Let's
right.
come together. We can have a meeting and I can tell you. Now, you could tell me to back off your child. Now, if you say that, I'll wash my hands.
Yeah.
Maybe. But
Just back up a little bit.
I'm gonna back up a little bit, but I'm still gonna do my little part. It might be a little, I try to do it a little more subtle. But we have to, like y'all was saying, we have to be able to trust even the people that don't have children. So
That's
you feel
right.
like you ain't got no children, you don't know what you're doing. No, that ain't always the case.
Well, I can't tell you how many kids I have raised when I was a kid, right?
Right.
Like I moved here to Tallahassee and I was 18, 2000, I was 18, and I was a substitute teacher at Rickards High School.
Ooh, yeah, you raised some.
2 years later, the kids who were in my class are now in college. And then they follow me. And now they got kids. They're like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's Mr. Morris. He was my teacher. So he raised me. He helped me through this process. He told me to do blank, blank, blank. And I did it. And here we are today. I think,
Today.
again, we have to know that everybody's going to bring something different to the table.
To the table.
You know, grandma bought her piece. It's not the same thing like auntie. Auntie gave you a different type of piece, boy.
I got one that gives you a different way to, boy. I got one that,
Right. Uncle
I'm like,
give you a whole
okay.
different lesson. So we all bring something to the table, and until we realize and respect one another,
Right.
and say, I'm gonna respect what you have to bring, not just the adults, but also the kids.
To the kids.
I'm gonna respect what you have to bring because, like you said, Lisa, they're gonna be something someday.
Yeah.
But we gotta tell them today that you're gonna be somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the village. They are the village. That's how we build it. We gotta stay on the. Who is that on the hill? On the wall of Jericho, building the wall of Jericho. Who was that, Lisa?
Joshua.
Joshua going around the wall.
Down from that wall. We gotta stay on that wall and work it.
And it gets frustrating, but you gotta the rewards outweigh the frustration.
Yes, they do.
The rewards outweigh to know that you see a child turn their life around.
Right.
Yeah.
It outweighs the frustration.
Yeah.
I'm a proud parent right now because I didn't know my chapter 3 was like, woo. But when I tell you, in the last 60 days, I've watched the Lord do that thing in my child. Because I stayed on, I didn't let up. It was frustrating. I've cried. My head is hurt of many days. I mean, Tylenol and etc. They're my friends. I thought I was a pill junkie. But when I tell you, when you stay consistent, I never wavered with her.
Yeah.
I stayed consistent. And she would tell you, my mama, if she said I'm gonna stick with it, and I watched that change.
Yeah,
I watched that change, and when they're doing right, you champion them, you pat them on the back. You gotta let them know they're doing right.
Yeah,
you can't always bark when they're doing wrong. You gotta let them know you're doing right. Even with the village, you got some people in the village, and those are the ones that I'm trying to exclude, especially like in the education system. I want a village that's not always barking at my child, but when they're doing right, let them know that they're doing right. Pat them on the back because that builds them.
Yeah,
that builds them and make them want to do better. Oh, I did this and I got that. That's what I get for doing good. Yeah. I want to build you. And my prayer every morning is, Lord, remove teachers out of the way that don't want to build, and replace teachers in my children and my grandchildren's life that want to build them, that want to mold them, shape them. That's my daughter would tell you, that's my prayer. Every morning we ride, I pray that prayer because I want to build a respectable, responsible, someone that contributes to society and to do good for themselves. And that's why I'm staying out. When you see me say parent snitch, I'm going to be on the scene.
I love it.
I'm going to be on the scene. I'm going to let you know what they're out here doing. Right now, a lot of parents don't know that. We got a gang war going on right here in Tallahassee.
And don't even know it.
And they don't even know it. Don't even know that your child and your nephews and all, they are part of it. They're real good at home. But in these streets, they kill a Mac, kill a so-and-so, dealer, they all that, and you don't even have a clue. It's too much going on. So I'm going to be that parent. I'm going to be that parent to all of them. Since y'all don't want to parent, let me parent for y'all. I get out and ride 10, 11 o'clock at night. I DoorDash. I'm good. I build.
Yeah.
So Kim, so is it that the parents are turning a blind eye, or is it that the children are just that good at being sneaky?
It's both.
I agree.
It's both. Our children have it's nothing's new up under the sun, but they try to invent new little ways on how they do
Right.
things. Instead of where they used to bring the gun home and hide it up under the bed, they stash it outside by the car, up under the wheels of the car. They free and
Right.
hold it. You got to see you got to be in thinking. That's why I say go through your own house. They don't
Right.
bring it in the house no more. A lot of them
Right.
don't bring it in. If you got that kind of house where it doesn't matter, then yeah, you bring it home. It don't matter anybody going through nothing because they don't. You feel like they don't care what I'm
Right.
doing. But if you
Yeah.
got that parent like me, I'm a nosy parent. I'm gonna go through everything. You gonna give it to I'm gonna give it to my friend Johnny. He gonna hold on to it because his mom and them don't care.
Yeah.
Right.
And you got a lot of parents. They see that their child is going the wrong way, and they just they just hanging out with their friends because they don't want to be bothered. I'm gonna be. It's both.
To
They
me,
don't want to
again, it
deal with
comes
it.
down
It's too much
to
headache.
the
It's both.
responsibility. We got
It's
to
both.
be responsible. All parties, the adults as well as the kids. We got to be responsible for our actions. We got to be responsible for the community, for our
You
village.
got to be.
We got to say, hey, you know what? I know I'm tired. I know I don't want to do this. I'm a part of the Alpha Educational Leadership Program. I got so many little mentoring programs that I'm a part of. Lord, there are days after work, I'm like, I don't want to.
Mentally drained.
I don't want to deal
Mentally
with it.
drained.
But then I say, you know what? If I don't do it, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said it earlier, you don't see the benefits of it till way down the line.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's some of the parts that people, fight with. Like they don't see the instant gratification of you having that conversation.
And they want it instant.
They want it instant. But sometimes you got to stick with it. And you look down the road and you're like, wow, that was you, little Johnny? The one who was acting up? I got one of my students in my class now. I was working with her when she was in high school. And now she's in I'm like, that's you? You here?
Yeah. I love to see them when you come from a school like Second Chance here in Leon County,
Yeah.
or you come from one of the juvenile justice program and you were in college, and I knew that's so big for me. I'd be like, I told you could do this. Or they come back, Miss Black, I done graduated. I'm in the military. I'm doing this. When society counted you out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, that's the biggest reward for me. I'd be like, yeah. Mm-hmm. They did that. Prove them wrong. My thing is prove them wrong, baby. You prove them wrong.
That
Prove
is
them wrong about you.
so beautiful. That is
Over and
so
over again.
Yes.
beautiful. So
I went into Zaxby's and who I run into? One of my babies, who's the manager. I'm like,
See?
you?
And she makes, and look, and they make
She's
pretty
running
good.
the show. She's
Making
running
pretty good.
Yes, I love it. I don't even care. I don't care where they are. If you at Walmart, and I catch them everywhere. Walmart, Publix. I can't even go to the movies when we were out and about. They used to, they catch me and then they'll sit and talk to me for at least 15 to 20 minutes. But I love it because I see the difference.
Yeah.
Influence and
Did we lose Kim?
impact. Influence, impacting. Yeah, you know how to sprint. See everybody on the internet now. So we're gonna freeze up from time to time. Y'all just trying to get their schoolwork done.
They tied up with T-Mobile. I don't know what they're doing out here, but
yeah, they acting up.
Hopefully,
but what I was saying was,
service.
yes, what I was saying was influence and impact. Your influence, because it was so great, impacted a child to where they saw goodness within themselves. That's what I mean by building. And I'm gonna be helping them build when I'm out there doing like this. Y'all see your children?
Yeah.
I know your mama. I done did that. I know your mama.
Yeah.
Hey, Miss Kim.
Right. What you doing out here?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm telling.
Oh yeah. I do this. If I see him, I say the same thing. I see you.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying. But it's very true. But we have to make sure, and we have to make sure people understand influence and impact. You need to make sure you're doing a positive influence and impact. Not because you can affect them negatively as well.
That's correct.
We definitely have to combat that. So the other thing that I wanted to say,
wait, before you say that, Lisa, you said something important. Because even in the old days, the guys who were even negative used to try to impact the kids in a positive
way. Yeah.
Like you know what? And I had so many stories where the guy was on drugs, or what we used to call a wino. But my father would still tell them to come and talk to me. And they would tell me, don't do what I did. Don't make the same mistake I did. You could be better than I was. I think, again, it goes back to the positive way. How can you positively change that mindset of the person that you're working with?
Right. That is
so everybody could be a positive piece to this village.
Right. Well, it's two things that you can learn from somebody: what to do and what not to do.
There it is.
Your testimony is, this is what I did because I did right.
Right.
This is how I am now, or this is what happened to me because I did wrong.
Right.
There's only two ways to go. But you're gonna be an example. You're gonna be an example anywhere it go. This is why I am the way I am because I did right, and this is who I am because I did wrong. You're gonna be an example, so why not be a positive example? And even with the negative example, son, you don't want to take the road I take because look how I ended up.
Right. That's right.
And if you want better for yourself, you're gonna look at that person and say, I don't want to do that. I have to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be like her. I want to be better. I want to do something different.
Yeah.
Gotta want to do different. And regardless of what the situation is, you gotta want to do different.
Definitely you gotta want to do something different, because it's all types of examples out there in this world. And I think that with Kim, with what you're doing, I think that is so wonderful, because we need that in the village. We definitely need that in the village, and I think more of us need to step up to that. You know what? I might get cussed out by a kid, but you know what? I'm still gonna tell you what's right and wrong.
Right. And we have too many mentoring groups out there. We have too many mentoring groups in our community.
Yeah.
We have too many mentoring groups in our community that our children are a part of. And you're not out there in the trenches with the kids, making them. You got to be out there with them to see, so they'll see your presence, not just because I'm in this group and they just care about me being in this group doing these type of things. No, you got to be physically out there, visibly out there, so they can see it's just not about you being in their mentoring group, but it's about them watching out you for the whole you, not just that part of you they want, but the whole you. You can't tell them. They got to be able to see you out there with them. They got to be able to see you.
I tell that to my friends all the time. You can't. You got to show them that you could dance, that you could sing, that you could have a good time without being crazy, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we show that side of us a lot because we think it's the wrong thing to do. No, they need to see you.
Living life.
The fullness of it, not just I'm at church or I'm at the youth group program. No, this is Mr. Morris at work. This is Mr. Morris when he goes out to. This is Mr. Morris at the grocery store. This is Mr. They need to see us in all facets.
Being a part of. They need to see us being a part of the village.
Yeah, I agree.
They need to see us interacting and engaging and being a part of the village.
Yeah.
It can't just be at home and when we having our little 2-3 hour meeting with them, on the internship level, mentorship. No, you got to show them that you actually a part of the world too, that you're actually a part of the village. Now, it's just not about your agenda that you have for them, but it's about the whole makeup of the child.
But the interesting thing is, if you really think about it, and I've seen this even with some, I don't want to say children, but even older, I call them grown children. They really react and respond to discipline.
Yeah.
Yes.
We always think that, and discipline don't mean beating and whipping. But they really, when you discipline them, for some reason they come right back to your door. Like, they not just get on you and they flock to you, because to them, if you care enough to say that you headed to the left, come on, let's pull it back to the right. They feel like you care about them.
They feel like you care about them.
And you do. It's because you took the time out to talk to them, to give them that advice. It makes a difference.
Yeah.
It goes a long way. To me, that's like building that wall again. That's that one brick.
Yeah.
I took the time out to talk to you. That's one brick.
Yeah.
I took the time out to take you to school. That's another brick. I took the time out to get you a book bag. You know what I mean? Or just give you some great words. You don't know what type of a difference you can make to somebody in one act of kindness.
Yeah.
One brick.
Yeah.
Could change your life. So we got to stay in the game. We got to stay in the game. So Miss Black, you know what? We may need to start a community snatch group.
Don't make me snatch you up. They're acting up.
Okay, Kim, what's your cash out? We need to give you some gas money so you can keep riding around.
If y'all had seen me riding around in that parking lot, look, that 2 Saturdays ago, TPD was everywhere, though. I was so glad to see them in the sheriff department. They were everywhere. But I'm like watching, I'm like, why y'all ain't picking these? I got on the Facebook and said, why y'all not picking these kids up? They just walking. They go into these establishments. They just walking. Come on, y'all. Pick them up. Then you saw some of the older ones with cars. Your mama don't know you driving that car like they do. No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Close that door. Yeah. And we finna go home. I don't even know who these kids are. I'm stopping to a bunch of little girls that's walking. I need y'all okay? Yes, ma'am. I need y'all to stay together. And where y'all headed? We're heading over here to Waterburger. Okay, that's a long little walk. You sure y'all all right? Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna ride. Sometimes, they be lying to their parents anyway. You talking about they at so-and-so house and they at the movies and you don't even know where your child at because they told you one place and then another place. That's another reason why I do that. You need to know where they are. So when if something should happen, well, they were supposed to be at so-and-so. No, they out here with the crowd in the melee.
Yeah.
That's right.
They told you they was one place, but here they're at another place.
Yeah.
And God forbid, because we're in a time right now where anything can happen.
Anything.
We have officers who don't know the true word of being an officer.
They used to get beat up when they was younger. That's why they became an officer.
So we got people who are in power who don't understand how to use that power. And I'm not just talking about officers. I mean, going from the top of the ladder, from the president on down. It could be a judge, a lawyer. We got people who could change the direction of our babies' lives by one decision.
Yeah. And
because they made the wrong decision.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we got to be out here to say, hey, there's a better way for you. I see you. Don't do that. Get out of here.
But we got to teach our own children. Everybody wants to put, and I've been watching lately and listening lately. You can't put the responsibility on the politicians to help raise your child or to raise our village. It is not their responsibility to teach our children how to do what's right, how to teach them how to go about things right. There's some things we're going to have to teach our own children. We can't put that responsibility on somebody. I don't put my responsibility on how to raise my children or my grandchildren on somebody else. I don't put the responsibility on me to raise my grandchildren. My children will tell you, no, you got them. You're going to do that time. You're going to raise them. We got to raise our own children.
We got to look at this comment right here. Let's look at this comment from Ro. Yes, children have the decision, but the village need to show up. Because the parent, true, they're not with them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But we are in some way, shape, or form. So it does. It takes the village. It takes the village.
But the village also incorporates the parent. So as I was saying with Ms. Black, you're right. The parent can't just say, oh, the teachers are going to do it. Yeah. Or the church is going to do it. Or the government is going to do it. Right. No, I'm going to do it for you first.
Right.
And then everybody else who is a part of this village, they're just going to add value to what I'm doing too.
Right.
All of us have to have our hand in the pot.
Right.
That's how it's going to work. Now, some hands are in there longer than others, but everybody's hand need to be in that pot.
Everybody.
Yeah. It's a partnership. It's a family. We have to do. Ro also say we need more male educators. I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah,
we're working on it.
I just saw those. Thanks, Jamal. But it does, and we Oh, y'all know what time it is? We like over our time.
Wow, I
We
just
needed
looked
to
at
have
that.
this conversation, though. This is a needed to have conversation in the state
Yes, it
of
is.
our
Yes,
children,
it
in the
is.
state of our village. We needed to have
Yeah,
this conversation.
yeah,
We
yeah,
need to have a part
definitely.
two. We need a
Yeah,
part
we can do
two.
part two.
Kim, you're gonna have to come back.
I come back to
With
school in
JT here
session, so
too.
let's see how I go with these football games that they so desperately had to have.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
I'm so
God.
like, I
Let's
can't
see how that
believe
go.
y'all playing football. I can't believe it.
That's another story with me. Because
Yeah, with
if you can
COVID.
play football, if you can come to football practice, you can go to school. But I'm just saying. Because Corona everywhere is at home, is at the football field, is in school. You just got to teach your children again. Teach your children how to protect themselves.
How to protect
Right.
themselves. So just a shout out to all of those watching tonight. If you're watching on YouTube,
Yes.
please hit subscribe so we can build our
Dude.
subscriber base. Shout out to like SG1 was really on here tonight. Shout out
For
to
real?
SG1.
Yay!
Yes, yes. I love my church family. Love them.
Yes.
So let's just keep this conversation going. Shout out to Sandra in Seattle, Washington. We really do. We have to keep this conversation going,
Yeah.
and we have to continue to be the village. And
Yes.
Kim, you got to keep riding. I
I'm
mean,
going to keep riding.
it's no other way around it. We just have to continue to do what we're doing. Rose said it's not one sided, and it is
It's
not.
not.
It's
It's
not. It
not.
takes everybody. It takes everybody. And I think the children need to feel that we love them.
Yeah.
They need to feel that. And so I did want to also remind everybody that October 5th is the last day to register to vote. So if you turned 18 between the time we did the primaries and the time we get ready to do the general,
Register.
you need to go and register to vote. And then after you register to
Come
vote, you
on,
need to
village.
go
Come on,
vote.
Vote.
village.
Come on, village. Right. So if you have not registered to vote, if you are a college student that just got here, forget that registration at home. Register to vote here,
In
so
the
you won't
grand
have no
ballroom.
problems.
If you're living on campus, you vote in the grand ballroom.
Vote,
Yes.
vote, vote, vote.
Both
Make sure you
FAMU and
register.
Florida State and
And
TCC
CCC.
all have places that you can go and register so that you can make a difference, not just in your family's community, but in our community,
Our community
In
also.
the
in
community.
our village.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Sandra. Sandra said, do not forget to complete your census.
Did
So if
that.
you haven't done the census, do the census. I am one. I have not done the census yet. I keep forgetting. So I need to do that. But yes, 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 yes. Let's make sure we're doing our part as a village, not just, for us, but for our children,
Yeah.
because at some point they're gonna be taking care of us. They're
And
gonna
that's
be
why
our
I have to do it, because
representatives. Right.
we're going to be in bad shape if we don't get it done. Ooh.
I told somebody the other day, I think I told one of my classes, because I told them to do something and they act like they didn't understand it. I said, I can't get old because y'all ain't gonna be able to take care of me.
Yeah.
You know, I have some great mentors who are older, and I love talking to them and checking up on them. And I said, man, when I get older, will they do the same? And all we can do is do our part and do the best we can, and know that, you know what,
Yeah.
they will show up. They're
Yeah,
not only going to show up, they're going to show out.
yeah,
So we
yeah.
just have to keep doing our part. Ms. Black, I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
Oh,
And you know what? All in all, I think they're gonna have some growing pains and it's gonna be some rough times, just like we had.
Yeah.
And look,
yeah.
I think we turned out
We
all
made
right.
it.
It's the reality of life, but some
Yeah,
roads you don't have to take.
true,
That's right.
It's the
true.
reality of life, but some
So
roads you don't
true.
have to take.
So we're gonna sign off for tonight, Miss Black, Kim Black. Thank you so much for
No
joining us.
problem. Thank y'all for having me.
Yep, we're gonna have to have you come back. I'm not sure. I need to call and check on JT.
Oh, JT, what happened to him?
I don't know. I don't know. And
He's probably at work.
yeah,
You know,
Okay.
yeah.
this is
And
that
I also
time.
wanted, I know we over our time, but I also wanted to give a shout out or a memorial or just a thought to Chadwick Boseman. Yes, yes. Wakanda love
Yes.
forever.
And last
Um,
week I wore my dashiki. Oh, only to
yeah,
find out the next day. Oh,
yeah, the
Oh,
next day, yeah. So love and light for his family. Um I was hoping JT was gonna be on because he actually worked with him in 42.
oh
So
wow.
yeah. So JT was in that movie. And so he got a chance to work with
We can have
Chadwick
a conversation
Boseman.
on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. But just the power of his testimony just lets us know that we have no excuses. We can do whatever we set our mind to do. And once you set your mind to it, your body and everything else
will fall in
will
place.
follow. Will follow.
I
So
told my kids that this week. If he did it, and if he was such an influence, not just in America, but around the
The
world,
yeah,
world.
you
yeah.
can do the same too. And they're doing it.
They're doing it.
They will be that same type of influence, but they
Yeah.
gotta know who they are. You remember
Yeah.
that part of the movie
Yes,
when the mom
yes.
said,
No.
Show him
tell
who
them
you are. Yeah.
who you are. Tell them.
Listen. If you're watching us, you need to go to our YouTube channel and see our show we did about Black Panther. It was a very good
Yeah.
show. You need to go check
Okay.
it out. So thank you guys for joining us. SG1 and another one of our friends, Tiffany and Sandra. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and all the other ones that may not have commented, but you're still on. We appreciate you so much. And
Yeah.
we're gonna see y'all next week. How about that?
Next week. Same
Next
time,
week.
same place.
Same time, same place. I will be back in my kitchen. I'm on location, but I will be back in my kitchen next week. And we'll be Kitchen Talk CTC.
Conversations that cook. Love it.
Yes. All right. Good night, guys.